Okay, I'm gonna start just blabbering and sharing my thoughts when I'm doing mindless work. Because here's the first thing that anybody probably picks up about me. I don't really share my thoughts with anyone. It's not just like I don't share them. No, like with anyone. I even feel weird about writing them down sometimes. So, in an effort to get over that, because it's not healthy, I should start blabbering. Because why not? Plus, I guess I'll just say I've always struggled. This is it's probably all correlates and ties in. I've always struggled with like making friends and keeping friends. And a lot of that probably has to do with being homeschooled, because that's what homeschoolers are known for. But also just who I am. Like before I even was in school, I did not talk to a soul. Everywhere, I was known for not talking to anybody. Nobody. I'm not even exaggerating. I just was so shy. I don't even know why. I was so young. This was before school. I just didn't talk to anyone. I literally would flat out ignore them. So it's definitely like it does have to do a lot with like how I was raised. I mean, maybe, I don't even know, honestly. But a lot of it is just who I am. And so like I try to be better at that. And maybe this will help. I don't know. But can't hurt. So lately I've been feeling like God is calling me to do a 9-month mission trip. So we start in Africa and we make our way to Cambodia, and then we go to Guatemala, which is like, I have a whole story. I'll just start from the beginning. So I've always wanted to do mission trips. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to share the love of God, and I just always wanted to do mission trips. So my church did ones that were in Africa. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's my dream. And I always wanted to do it. And by the time that I was old enough, well, we did not attend that church anymore. And COVID happened. So that was just a hot mess. So now that COVID has subsided, my sister and I were talking one night, and I was like, I want to go somewhere. I was like, I want to go, like, I need a break from this life, which sounds dramatic, but I was like, I just want to, like, get away for, like, a week, and I just want to be away, and not have to think about anything that I think about in this life right now. At home, like that stuff. And so she told me about her friend that went on, it's called Gap Year. And so she was like, they probably have some shorter ones, like a week or whatever. And so I was looking, and I found one for a month. I went to Cambodia. It's $5,000. But I was like, whoa, that would be amazing. A month on a mission trip. I was just like, this is it. So like I prayed about it, I applied, I did all the stuff, did all the interviews, did all the meetings, all that pizzazz, and lo and behold, I started raising money. So they have like a really interesting technique for raising money. It's like partnership development and community development, which is what I need. And I was like, okay, I can work with this. And so I literally, they have this thing. It's like a 9-week, like map is called, I think. So I started all that. I did the whole thing. And then literally, like the day, almost to the day, that I was at the point where I just needed to do what I just learned. And, a few days after I even started doing what I learned, and I was like, okay, I know exactly how I'm gonna do all this, and it just all came together. But like, I'm so sorry guys, but one person short of enough people to make this trip happen. And I already knew that 6 people needed to go, and 6 people signed up, so I was really confused, and I was literally driving. I was at a light, and they said, it was like an email, I don't know. They sent an email. I don't usually open emails like when I'm at a light and driving. I just did. I was stopped anyway. It was safe. And it's like, I'll get right to it. I'm so sorry, but your trip has been canceled. And I was like, I was driving to have dinner with my family, or with my parents. Legitimately drove with my jaw opened, all the way opened. And like the rest of the way there, for like 10 minutes. I literally could not have been more shocked. Beyond shocked, actually. I was just like, oh my gosh. Shocked. And so I was like, okay. And so once I got to where I was going, I read all the options that they had. And they had a Guatemala option, which covered a big event that I do in summer. So I was like, no way. There's no way that I can do that. I already said I was doing this event. I committed. It's huge. I need to be there. And so I was like, no way. And then they had another Cambodia one, but it was 3 months. And I was like, 3 months out of country? That's a bit much for me. I was like, no way. And then that was pretty much it. Just like reimburse everything. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I kind of just sat on it. It was a weekend. They said that they won't get back to us till Monday. So I was like, okay. So I just kind of, I was thinking about it a lot. Like, just kind of like in my head. And so I had a question mainly about, I don't even really remember. It was just about, like, I thought there were 6 people, blah, blah, blah. So I set up a call with the dude, because also he was like, you want to know anything about Guatemala? And I was like, you know what, I might go on it next year, so I have this opportunity to learn about it. Let me just learn about it. So I got on the call, and I was like, I basically told him that, one person dropped off for Cambodia. That's why it got canceled. But I basically told him, like, I have a really important event for me that's smack dab in the middle. And I can't miss it. I didn't say I can't miss it. I was still debating. I was like, I really don't want to miss it. I'm like, this is really important to me. He goes, well, I have heard of people that fly home for important things. I was like, wait, I can fly home for this? And I looked at the flight prices, literally like $400. I'm like, I can cover that, like, both ways. Or a round trip. Yeah. I was like, I can cover that. And so I was like, I prayed about it, and I was thinking about it a lot, and I was like, you know what? Let's go for it. What better do I have to do? Nothing. And so, I want stuff, but also not. So I texted him like a few days later, and I was like, okay, here's the deal. Guatemala is a full go. If I can get that week to fly home, like if it can get approved, to fly home and like come do what I need to do and then fly back. I was like, I will go. I'm fully in. You have my word. And so I was like, if I cannot get that week off though, I will wait till the next opportunity comes and I will, like I won't go. Like not in a bratty way, just like in a, this is important to me way. So he said, awesome, thanks. And Friday came along, the day that I needed to make a decision by, and they didn't have an answer. I was like, okay, well, do I need to give an answer? Because I guess I'm just going to say no. I was like, well, since, like, we're just waiting an answer from them, I think it's okay. I'm like, okay, sounds good. So, continue, days pass by. One day specifically, I was, like, literally leaving in, like, 5 minutes to go, to the gym, I think. And I just got on the page, and the 9-month one came out. It goes, like I said, to Africa, Cambodia, and Guatemala. Africa was my dream. Guatemala was my second option, and Cambodia was my first option for the trip. And so I was like, oh, okay. And it was September through May. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, that would be awesome. And I started thinking about it. And I was like, no. Like, that is terrifying. I've never even left my house for more than a week. I was like, absolutely not. I've never been out of country. I just got a passport. I've never been out of my house for a week. Too scary. Too much to start with. I need to start with something small, work my way up. And I was like, I just couldn't stop thinking about it though. I was like, that would be so cool. Think about the opportunity. Like, how, I just thought about how cool it was. And so, fast forward a few days. I was thinking about it still. And I was like almost like, okay, this just sounds so dramatic. I swear, I'm usually not dramatic. Okay, maybe I won't, but anyways, okay. I was thinking about it, and I was almost like crying. That's why I was saying dramatic. Because I'm like, that would be so scary. I'm like, leaving for 9 months. That's so scary. That's too much for me. And I don't even know, like, I just kept considering it. I was like, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I look at the age range on it again. I was just like reading the whole thing. Look at the age range on it again. And you have to be 17 to 20. I'm turning 20 in a few days. So I'm like, oh crap. This is my last opportunity. And may I mention, right after Cambodia got canceled, something that literally jumped off the page of the Bible that I was reading that morning. I've been doing, like, reading one chapter out of the New Testament and then some other stuff every day. That one said, make the most of every opportunity. And I was like, okay, Lord, how do I make the most of this? Because yeah. And so, basically, well, that day I was like, no, I'm not going to go out. And then fast forward, I know this is all over the place. Fast forward, and I was like, almost crying because I was so scared of this. But it was my last opportunity. And most of the people were like 17 that were doing it. I'm like, they can do it like I can do it. Come on. And so I was like, God, I'm too scared to do this. I can't do this. So I ended up brushing my teeth because, you know, I brushed my teeth. And I was like, what like passage is the Great Commission in? And I was like, okay, this is my thought process. I'm like, I know it's in Matthew. It's like, it's in Matthew, but I don't know what. And so I was like thinking, Matthew, and then Matthew 8:23. I was like, it just in my mind. It just popped in my mind. I almost like, maybe I'm just making this up now because I know what it said. Now I know what it says. But I swear, it was just so clear. It's like, Matthew 8:23. I was like, okay, Matthew 8:23, Matthew 8:23. I get up, and let me just go grab it. Matthew 8:23. Then he got into the boat, and his disciples followed him. Suddenly a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat, but Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him, saying, Lord, save us. We're going down. He replied, You of little faith, why are you so afraid? That's the only sentence in red letters. I was like, oh, you of little faith, why are you so afraid? Then he got up and rebuked the winds and waves, and it was completely calm, and men were amazed and asked, What kind of man is this? Even the winds and the waves obey him. So I was like, called out. Big time called out. I was like, the only reason I would not do this is because I'm scared. It's the only reason. And I was like, wow. I just literally, I can't describe it. I was convicted. Like, okay, so I'm just here to do this. And so I started really considering it. Not just a little bit. I was like, okay, if I do this, and so I was like, okay, Lord, if you want me on this trip, please close the door to Guatemala. And I was like, that will tell me, this will confirm, this will be my confirmation that this is where you want me in life this next year, because I'd literally be there in 1 year from right now, turning 21 in Guatemala. So I still don't know. This is still a mystery to me if he has closed that door or not. But basically, I got on the phone with my advisor again, and for the trip. This was the one for Cambodia. And I was like, so, do you have any updates about Guatemala? He goes, I talked to my boss, and he says that leaving for a week should not be an issue. But ultimately, we need the okay from that trip advisor. And she is in Guatemala right now, so it's a little bit difficult to get a hold of her. I've been trying for a week. I did get a hold of her, but not an answer on that. So we do need an absolute, for sure, no matter circumstances, answer by Monday. And I'm like, okay. So today's Saturday. That meeting was on Wednesday. And on Monday, I need an answer. So I was writing down, before that meeting, I was writing down everything that I was scared about. So I was like, okay, let me find verses that combats the fear that I have for this trip. And so I was writing everything down, and then I happened to go back to this, and I noticed the only other word. Oh, the night before, oh my gosh, I literally need to get my story straight. The night before, I said, God, please make it crystal clear what you want me to do. So, writing down all my fears, reopen the passage where it says, you little faith, why are you so afraid? And I noticed the only other, this is chapter 9, only other red word on this page is go. I was like, no way. The only other red words mean Jesus is speaking. One word in the rest of that chapter, and it says go. It's like, okay, Lord, I hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear. And so, basically, I was like, just so overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, this is God. Like, this is the God of the universe telling me to go. And so I was like, okay, Lord, like, I hear you. And let me tell you, the war in my mind is intense. I will not lie. It is intense and trying its best bet to scare me out of going, so the devil, and just get me to reconsider God. because I haven't made the commitment yet. So on the call with the advisor, after he told me about Guatemala, I was like, he's like, do you have any other questions? It's like, well, something happened, which, yeah. And so I told him, I'm like, I just feel like the Lord opened my heart and my mind to the gap year trip. And he goes, oh, well, that's big. And so I told him about, like, Matthew 8:23 and go. He's like, okay. Well, I was not expecting that at all. Whoa. And he was just so shocked. It was so funny. He's like, it seems like he's a really good, like, advisor. He just seems really, like, on top of everything and just, like, brilliant. And so he's like, okay, well, I was like, can we, like, make sure my age is okay? Because I will be 21 getting out of it. I don't know if that's an issue. Like, I doubt it's an issue. Because, like, I'm not even 20 yet. And so he's like, yeah, for sure. And so I haven't gotten an answer on that either yet. But he thought that I was, like, telling him, like, I'm going up this. And I was like, well, I'm still, like, waiting to hear about Guatemala. I want to see that door be closed. And I know that's so... I don't know how... Okay, anyways, I'll stop. So... yeah. I'm kind of at this point where I'm like... I'm like, come on, I'm just stupid if I don't go, because literally God is saying go in his words, and there's nothing I can do to change the fact that happened, and the fact that every single thing in my life right now can be put on hold. Everything. The only reason I wouldn't go is fear. And so I can think of every reason not to go. Every reason in the book. But I still want to see this Guatemala door close. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at, honestly, with the trip. Because I'm just like, I can't think if I'm not doing something. This is bad. What am I supposed to do now? Oh, this one. Basically, I'm like pretty sure I'm going, because come on, yeah, I think I was talking about the war in my mind though, just convincing me, well, it could have been a coincidence, and like a lot of them actually like really believe, like they get to me, I'm like, well, that's true. I'm like, well, what if I get sick? What if this happens? What if I don't have this? What if I do have this? And I've been waking up, like, sick, like, every morning. And I've just been, like, specifically waking up sick and thinking, this is why, not me thinking, I don't know if this is me thinking it. This is, like, it's, my mind says, this is why you can't go on the trip. You're gonna get sick. I keep waking up. And this was happening with Guatemala too. It's like, this is why I can't go to Guatemala. You're gonna get sick. And you're gonna be far away from home. And then you're gonna be like miserable. And this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And then, yeah. So basically my plan right now is to watch this door to Guatemala be shut, because God wants me on this trip. And then, okay, here's the other thing. I was like, I kind of feel like God's saying, like, you have an option. Because, like, we have free will. Kind of feel like God's like, you can go on this Guatemala trip. I want you on this 9 month. But if you don't trust me enough, you can go on this Guatemala. And I'm like, Lord, like, I trust you. And I'm like, I want to do your will for my life. And his will for my life is this 9 month. And I just want to see this door be shut. Just as like a final like confirmation that this is where God wants me. Because it's a big thing and so scary. And so my plan right now is just go on the trip. I'm so excited, but I'm so scared. I have to raise $16,000 and then come home in May, a little bit over a year from right now, and then like be a changed person, of course, because and just have so many life experiences, and then work on my business and get that going, and maybe try to find a helper with that. Hopefully one day start a family. I don't know, but that's literally my life right now, and there's still a lot of war up here that I'm not open about, but I'm working on it. And that was more of a story time, not blabbering. It was blabbering, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye. Here's this, just for reference, if you can read it. Insane.